For almost 6 years on Sea of Thieves, there were only 4 weapons in the game. However, with a recent PlayStation 5 update, they added 2 more, the throwing knife and the double-barrel pistol. So, because they've added 2 more weapons, I've decided I'm going to rank all the weapons in Sea of Thieves. So, I think it's pretty obvious what last place or 6th is going to be, and that's the double-barrel pistol. To be honest, the double-barrel pistol just isn't good enough. It doesn't do enough damage to be a shotgun like the Blunderbuss, and it's really not that feasible to use from long range. It reloads too slowly. I'm just not a massive fan of a double-barrel pistol, and I don't think you'll see anyone using it in PvP or PvE, aside from trying to get achievements. I think that if they really will have to buff it or change it or rework it or something, because it's just not used and it's just not that good in my opinion. That it's so much worse than the sword, the pistol, the sniper, the blunderbuss, and the throwing knives. Like, it's a considerable gap between 6th and 5th. I think the top 5 are all usable in at least PvE, but this in PvE just isn't even that useful. I remember I was using it to try and kill an Ashen Lord for the achievement that you get, and it took so long, so much longer than a blunderbuss would take, or a sword or anything. So yeah, I just don't think it's that good. And number 5 is the other new addition, the throwing knife. Now, the throwing knives aren't that bad. I mean, to be honest, I think in PvE, they are good because they do one-shot skeletons, which is a big bonus. At least in a 2-man crew, they do. I just don't think they're that feasible for PvP, just because they are very highly skilled to use. They are cool. First of all, I would say they are cool, but they're very high skilled to use. It's pretty hard to hit your shots with them, and really, I just don't think they're very feasible to use in a PvP scenario where people are just going to be hitting you with a sword, shooting you with a blunderbuss, which can one-shot you, or sword, which can stag you and everything. When a throwing knife really I just don't think it's that feasible to use. It's good. I will say it is good. If there was a stealth aspect to the game, it would be a lot better in my opinion, but because there's no stealth aspect, it kind of doesn't really make sense to have throwing knives. But yeah, I think they're cool for PvE and a bit useless for PvP, so that's why I go in 5th. Now for the 4th spot, this pains me to say, but it's the blunderbuss. Now I use the blunderbuss pretty regularly. I usually actually go sword and blunderbuss, or sword and pistol. The blunderbuss is just so inconsistent. The hit reg on Sea of Thieves with the blunderbuss is some of the worst I've ever seen. It is too inconsistent, and that's why it is 4th place for me, and it's below the pistol, the sniper, and the sword. The reason being is this has been the issue for 6 years on Sea of Thieves. The blunderbuss hit reg has been atrocious. There are times where I will board someone. They will not know I've boarded because maybe they're new or maybe they just didn't hear me. I'll stand right next to the person on the wheel and I'll blunderbuss from point blank, and it will just knock them off the ship, or it won't even knock them off and it won't kill them. That shouldn't happen. From point blank for blunderbuss, you should be killing him 99 times out of 100, 100 times really out of 100. Sometimes you'll shoot someone from point blank, you'll get a hit marker, and then you'll hit them 3 times with a sword, and it still won't kill them. So it will basically have hit for less than 1 sword swipe, and they'll hit you from the exact same distance and one-shot you. It's just too inconsistent. But I love using the blunderbuss. It's just so inconsistent. I think it's great for PvP. I think it's great for PvE. Blunderbuss and sword is probably not the best for PvE. I would say pistol and sword. PvP, I think it's very good for a short-range gun. I think it's all very, very good and very useful, but a hit rate just means it has to be 4th for me. Now, in 3rd place, I'm going with the sniper. Now, this is a weird one. The sniper I don't really use. I'm always good with snipers in the games. I just haven't used it really ever in Sea of Thieves. I think that for high skill players, this is the best weapon. Yeah, this is incredible. Like, pistol and sniper on PC especially are so good. It's so broken. And if you can hit your shots with a sniper, it's so useful. If someone's trying to board your ship, they're swimming, they're a bit far away. Too far made for a pistol, too far made for a blunderbuss. The sniper's perfect. The sniper's great for obviously sniping skeletons, sniping barrel kegs, sniping barrels in general. It's just obviously is the only sniper in the game, the only way to kind of shoot things at a pretty far range. And I think it's a great gun. I think the hit reg is pretty decent. I am a bit annoyed that you can't one-shot headshot or something. I feel like it maybe could get a bit broken if you could, but otherwise it is very high skilled, and if you can't one-shot, it's a bit, I don't know. But a double gun with pistol and sniper is exceptional, and I think it's a great combo. But it's going 3rd just because I like the pistol and the sword more, and I think they have more uses, basically. But I think that the sniper is an exceptional weapon to use in the game, yeah, definitely. But it is high skilled. If you're a new player, I probably wouldn't recommend using it, just because it is a pretty hard gun to use. It was amazing in the arena. I remember using it in the arena, sniping someone on cannons. It was great. I used to love using it, but now I don't really use it as much. So yeah, that's why it's third for me. And now we're into the top two, and the second place has to go to the pistol. I've been using the pistol a lot recently, and for me personally, it's the best balance between all the guns. It's great for medium range, it's pretty good for short range, and it's decent for long range. It's just all round a pretty good weapon. It's really good on forts for sniping gunpowder kegs, and it can one-shot skeletons as well, which basically makes the blunderbuss totally irrelevant for PvE. So basically, blunderbuss is totally ineffective now in PvE because the pistol can one-shot skeletons and it can shoot from range. It's just so much better than a blunderbuss. It's got much more consistent hit reg. I think it's a brilliant gun, and it's also great for PvP. I think it's a very common one, a pistol and a sword, a pistol and a sniper. I think the advantage it has over the sniper is obviously you don't have to zoom in with a scope, and the advantage of a blunderbuss is if you see someone, for example, swimming up to your ship with a keg, if you've got a blunderbuss and a sword, you can't do anything. You have to wait until they board you, and you try and shoot them, and it'll blow the keg up. But you see them swimming, you've got your pistol, you can still shoot them in the water from a decent range where it doesn't affect your ship, or it affects your ship a little bit, but enough so you can repair it. I think the pistol is by far the best gun for PvE and PvP. It's definitely my favourite gun in the game. By the way, all of these have great skins. They have great customization options apart from the two new ones, which are pretty mediocre. I think the cosmetics on the pistols are so nice. I think it's the second best, probably the third actually best cosmetics, or second. I'll say second. Sniper's definitely first for cosmetics. I will say that out of the three guns, it's so good. But yeah, the pistol is my favourite as an actual weapon. It is brilliant. It is such a good gun, and I think this is why it's second on my list. But number one on my list is obviously the sword. The sword is my favourite weapon in the game by far. Now I know for all of the 2 comments I will get on this video will both be from people who love double gunning. Yeah, I know double gunning is great, but I'm on Xbox and double gunning just really isn't that good for me, especially with my low sense. I love using the sword. The sword is definitely my favourite weapon. I've been using it my entire 6 years constantly as my weapon of choice. Now, I used it in the arena absolutely loads. It was so good in the arena. I got the triumphant Sea Dog Cutlass from killing 400 people with the sword. It was so good. Arena sword, unbelievable. Using the sword in the arena was crazy. But even in PvE now, it is amazing in PvP. PvP, it still holds up very well. PvE is obviously the best weapon by far to use, just because no reloads, takes out skeletons in 3 hits. And in PvP, it's still very, very, very useful. I still think it's the best weapon for PvP personally, just because of the fact you can sword dash, you can stun people, you can block, and you can get these really cool pirate duels almost, where you're fighting someone, you're blocking their sword, then you're hitting them, then you're sword lunging and whatever. Obviously, it's the best for mobility as well. You need it to sword dash, which is why a lot of people keep it, because sword dashing is so useful, especially getting down from a large cliff, for example. So sword dashing puts us into tier 1 alone, puts it number 1, just off sword dashing, really. But there's no issue with hit reg. There's no issue with, you've hit your shot and it doesn't count. It's pretty consistent, and it has the best cosmetics in the game for me, even over the sniper. I love it so much. It is by far my favourite weapon to use in the game. Maybe other people will disagree, but for me, it is far first. It's a big gap between sword and pistol. Throughout my 6 years in Sea of Thieves, I've rotated between blunderbuss, sniper, and pistol. I've used all of them a decent amount, but I've always used it with a sword. I've never dropped the sword out of my loadout through my dozens and dozens of hours in arena and hundreds of hours in the base game. I've always used the sword. So yeah, sword for me, number 1, clear number 1. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it. People will probably have pistol and sniper as their top 2, but I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, whatever, do all that stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.